I found a little writing about the ultimate reality that I found very fascinating in a book by Swami Nikhilananda called Self-Knowledge. It's in a section of a chapter called The Proof of Truth. He says, ultimate reality is transcendental. It is not perceived by the senses or comprehended by the mind. It is a matter of indubitable experience for the inmost consciousness of man. It is directly and immediately experienced without the instrumentality of the senses and the mind, and does not depend for its proof upon any external authority. The perception of the external world is neither direct nor immediate, but is dependent upon the senses and the mind, and is always colored by them. On the other hand, the experience of reality is both immediate and direct, and becomes possible only when the senses and the mind, through the practice of rigid spiritual discipline, have been made absolutely calm. It is the consciousness in man that experiences the universal consciousness, the two being in reality identical. But there are infinite possibilities of self-deception. To protect the aspirate from error and delusion, the seers of the Vedanta lay down three criteria of truth. These are scriptural authority, reasoning, and personal experience. Any one of these singly may enable a man to realize partial truth, but when all three point to the same conclusion, the aspirant may be assured that he has realized the whole truth. The meaning of the scriptures, which contain the record of experiences of knowers of truth of the past, must be explained by a competent teacher. In order to free reasoning from the pitfalls of rationalization, rigorous mental disciplines are prescribed so that the aspirant may be grounded in detachment, and not only from the external world, but also from his own pet ideas and exclusive loyalties. The aspirant must be able to view his own thinking objectively, and submit to it a search. The aspirant must be able to view his own thinking objectively, and to submit it to a searching analysis. Ultimate values must be judged by the standard of eternity and not of time. Lastly, the conclusions of the scriptures, reaffirmed by reasoning, must be experienced by the aspirant himself. Ultimate truth, the basis of the universe, is self-evident, non-contradictory, and free from fear and friction. The seer perceives truth everywhere and in everything, and thus becomes completely free from fear, from sorrow, and from expectation, which characterize the life of falsehood in the relative world. So this wonderful transcendental truth means that it's not going to be something you find in your mind by analysis. It's not going to be something that's learned through your senses or spoken to you or read by you. That it is a direct experience, which means it doesn't go through the interpretation process of the senses, right? Your eyes name and determine names and forms everywhere as you see them, right? And you can see that it's easily diluted just by the fact that you go to a movie and you believe what you're watching to be real enough to cry and laugh and cheer for, when in fact it's just a bunch of still pictures flashed one upon another. So we know that the senses are not reliable and that they are interpretive, that we all see and understand the exact same data coming in through senses in a different way, and that our memories made up from an identical event are often very different. So this is why we have three means of validating, your personal experience, your reasoning, and the scriptures. And sometimes people throw in the words of the guru in there as well. And so that is the whole of it, right? And that's why it's such a mystery and why it's not so easily grasped, because we're very accustomed anytime we have to study anything, we just put it in front of our senses, apply our senses to it, apply our mind and analysis to it and come up with our conclusion, and we say that we have learned something. But what we're trying to do now is learn something that isn't told to us. We're trying to find out, in effect, who we are, what we are, when nothing is telling us, not our mind, not a book, not a thought, not a word, nothing. In the absolute silence of the inner self, who are you? It becomes self-evident. It's shown to you on the other side of senses, not from the front in, but from the back, as it were. It comes into something that gets to be processed by mind, but cannot fit in the mind, because the mind requires the triads, right? Time, space, causation, subject, object, verb. Without those clauses or those tools, the mind cannot make sense of this reality, or cannot spin this reality into an understanding. And so this transcendental truth is outside of time, space, causation, is not able to come into subject, object, verb, but is a singularity, a one without a second, and thus by necessity, unreachable by mind and senses.